Okay, now, my little presentation about the Coachman brand of truck campers. Okay. Okay. Now, the Coachman brand of truck campers are the 70s. First of all, Coachman started in 1964. Coachman started in 1964. There's an old ad for a Coachman. Okay, that's the interior of the 1964 Coachman travel trailer. The first year they mostly just made travel trailers, a few travel trailers. 1967, Coachman came out with a truck camper. Now, this is the original interior of a late 60s, maybe early 70s Coachman truck camper. Most assuredly, probably late 60s Coachman truck camper. Okay, they just did some serious renovations to it. Now, this is what it looked like. Now, they had one called the Coachman. There was a Coachman Knight that was a 9.5 foot camper, an 8.5 foot. They came out with that in 69, like mine. Mine's the weird thing about my campers is that there's another one like it. That's a 9.5 foot. Now, for 69, they came out with this sloped roof in the back. Now, that's a 67 or 68, I believe, because it has a flat roof. In 69, they come out with a sloping roof. On the Knight and the Surrey. The Surrey is the 8.5 foot Coachman camper. Now, I found this camper free. Is a great deal. And it wasn't just because it was free. Having my Coachman truck camper, my 88 Coachman truck camper, I really kind of became a fan of the Coachman truck campers. So after having it for a long time, I really became fond of my 88 Coachman truck camper. And so I started doing research and I started thinking about Coachmans. And I thought about the older generation of Coachman truck campers, the 60s, going all the way back to, my camper, it has a sconce just like that in it. Okay. And this is the little container storage lockers you have at the head of your bed there. That's meant to be the headboard of your bed. Now, just, to put my camper back together the way it's supposed to be, that one has a bathroom in it. There's another late 60s. Okay. It's an ad for my camper when it came out. It says here, Coachman Surrey. Coachman Industries' latest pickup design is an 8.5 footer featuring a slanted roofline and contoured cab over. The Surrey was designed specifically for families needing large camper accommodations in a small size unit. So this camper here is just like mine. It's the 8.5 foot. And the weird thing, this isn't just like mine, but the Knight is the 9.5 foot. The Surrey is the 8.5. So it's just like mine, but it's a foot longer. Okay, and that's 9.5 foot. The Knight and the Surrey, they both have that same roof line. Both of my campers are really the same model. The 88 Coachman and the 69 whatever Coachman, both of them are the Surrey 8.5 foot. That's what they both are. Even though they're like 20 years apart in age, This is kind of the way the kitchen is supposed to look in the camper. The camper, the kitchen in the camper is supposed to look very much like this. If my progress works out okay, then I'll be able to return the kitchen area in the camper to this kind of a design. It's the original kind of a concept. So I'm going to go back to a 60s style upholstery fabric. A 60s style upholstery. So it'll be that kind of a fabric in the camper. I wanted to have an original 60s feel to it, 70s, whatever. Retro 60s, 70s, architecture inside. I don't want to paint everything white and make everything modern and paint everything white and black and all this stuff. I mean, that's for the 88 Coachman. That's for that other camper, you know? That modern feel and all that. You know, that's for the other camper. This one has a true vintage, you know, kind of a feel to it. You can see and hear the sloped roof line in the back. And it has that paper on the ceiling, and mine's all been ripped down. But it's like a cardboard stuff in the ceiling. There's your cab over. The original fabric. Okay. Okay, now. I don't guess I have anybody in the house, do I? No. On Facebook, we have a Coachman and Shasta group, okay? Coachman and Shasta. Truck Camper Facebook group. Okay, rubbing at Rosie. Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. Now, media. Now, you can, if anybody's on Facebook, you can join this group, Coachman and Shasta Truck Camper group. So, albums. We go media, we go to albums. 67 through 2001, Coachman. Okay. This is the bigger version. Now, the biggest one, I believe, is the lamplighter. They'll have these medieval and colonial type of themes to all the names of their campers. It was kind of a colonial theme. The coachman is the one who drives the stagecoach, you know. The lamplighter, I guess, is the one that lights the lamps at night, you know, the street lamps, you know, at night. The lamplighter lights the street lamps at night. Gas lamps or whatever on the streets, you know. There's the one called the lamplighter. There's the I keep forgetting what the other one. Surrey the Night. You know, is a bigger one. Anyway. So they have certain themes to the interior. Okay, there's a bigger one. And now this one, in the late 60s, Coachman, that has the same back end like on my camper, but you see the roof line is like that. And then on the smaller campers, you know, there's that same camper we saw. Yeah, the siding kind of changed. But the 9.5-foot camper, it has really the same kitchen in like my camper, but I like how it's kind of closed off. I like the bedroom and how the bedroom's closed off into its own little area. Have you seen these pictures of this camper? And this is a camper just like mine. Exactly. It's 8.5 foot and everything. Now this camper, they claim it to be a 68. Of course, it could be a 69, you know. There's another one like it for sale. And it's just like mine and that other one you just saw. And there's the back end of it. There's what it's supposed to look like. But somebody had my camper and they backed into a tree or something and damaged the back end of that overhang. So I'm going to be fixing that when I do the camper. You know. Now, the only bummer is it only has a place for one propane tank. I'm going to have to find some way to be able to use a second propane tank. So, it has that little extra, little outlet, exterior electrical outlet in the back. So, yeah. So, anyway, this paper, you can see it's the same as my camper. It has that it's like a cardboard, but it's a heavy duty cardboard. It's not just cardboard. It's a high density cardboard. And that one has an optional bubble window in the back. I really like, they have two Coachmens as well. So Here's a 1972 Coachman truck camper. So 73, inside of the 73. The interiors were still pretty much similar in 1973 because they had that same roof line from 67 all the way up to 73 on the Coachman truck campers all the way up to 73. And I guess in 74 they finally dropped it for a more modern profile. 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, option A, which is the 1981. There's option B, which is a Caper XL special edition. They started going to this photo finish. That's the only bad thing about them. Like in my 88 Coachman, they go with this thing called the photo finish. It's plywood. It's real plywood, but it's thin. It's maybe an eighth of an inch plywood in the walls of these campers, and I can actually cut it with a box cutter. With a sharp box cutter, you can cut it. The 1968-69 Coachman, the plywood, the paneling is a quarter of an inch. For the newer campers, they go to an eighth of an inch. They go to a thinner plywood for the newer campers. Well, I think for the exterior walls, it has thicker paneling. It's probably a quarter of an inch. It is a quarter of an inch in the outside wall. But for the interior cabinetry walls, they go to an eighth of an inch on the inside of the camper, and they print it on. They print the wood grain on. It's artificial wood grain printed on. Okay. Here's an 81 Caper XL. Okay, 82 Coachman. There's an 82 Coachman. There's an 82 Coachman. That's a Caper XL 1982. Okay, it goes to 83 and is very similar. 83, 84, 85. That's 85. 86. There are two versions of the 86. There's some of the campers in 86 did not have a basement. They were just like 85 with a flat roof. The other part of the other floor plans of the 86, there were a few floor plans in 86 that came out with the basement model. Now these have laminated construction, laminated sidewall. You see, that's the 86 Coachman. You see, it's made with laminated sidewall construction. 87, like my camper. There's an import camper. For just a couple of years, they made an import Coachman truck camper. There's just like mine, identical. 1988. There it is. That one doesn't have a bathroom. Mine has the optional bathroom. So it's the same kind of fabric that my camper came with. I just changed the fabric. Okay, there's the pictures of the camper that I ordered. The pictures I ordered online. Real pictures, 89 and 90. Now, in 1991, they split the campers between two different kinds. The camper they had been making became badged as the Ranger, Coachman Ranger. And they offered a cheaper camper, which was called the Sport, Coachman Sport, which was a aluminum-sided camper. For the first time in years, Coachman offered a aluminum-sided camper for the first time in years. With traditional style windows, it was an economy camping camper and it started out with the photo finish paneling, all wood paneling inside, just like some kind of a lodge or something. There's a 1992. They got rid of the sloping overhang, the sloping cab over roof, like in my camper, and went to a flat roof on the 92 Ranger. And so there's a Sport, and there's a 93. Ranger and the Sport. 94 Ranger, 94 Sport. For 94, they offered a big side entry camper on the Sport for 1994. 1995 Ranger, Sport. 96 Ranger, 96 Sport. 97 Ranger, 97 Sport. 98 Ranger, 98 Sport. 99 Ranger, 99 Sport. 2000 Ranger, 2000 Sport. 2001 Ranger, 2001 Sport. Now that's the Coachman campers, all of them. But just hey there, hey Ellis Travels, how you doing? Yeah, I need to. I need to go live late at night. Elvis Travels. That's true, right there. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's good. Which one? The camper I bought. I've had 3 trail trailers that eventually leaked and had to trade them in on Molly. I'm sorry to hear that. Cindy Lopez. Hey. Oh, happy holiday, Cindy Lopez. You're a nice person. Yeah. Cindy Lopez, thank you for coming. Happy holidays to you, too, Cindy Lopez. I appreciate you coming in and wishing me a happy holiday. Thank you. Happy holidays to everyone else in here. So, let's see. Rosie, I was watching Rosie O'Kelly. So. There will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be sorrows, no sorrows for me. There will be peace in the valley for me someday. Okay, now, okay. Okay, now. Here's the camper on my truck after I got home and it started snowing. And this was Christmas, the day before, I think it was maybe December 24th, 2022. It's the camper on my truck when I got home. Okay. Now, inside of the camper, there was an old dirty blanket, an old dirty bed sheet, just very dirty. And I had cleaned it all up already a little bit. Somebody had the windows blocked out. It says all of this stuff is just very dirty inside. The pillows. Okay. Just everything was just. Here's the stuff that was in the camper. And there is diabetic needles, diabetic syringes. Here's one of the diabetic syringes, the insulin syringes that I found in the camper. There was a lot of these insulin syringes in the camper. Now, some tools. Nail lipstick. There's a condom. And there's another syringe. Now, we go to the fuck it bucket. That's what that says. Okay, just lots of little trinkets and stuff, Really abandoned, really an abandoned. Now, there's an interesting sight. These are used needles, used syringes in a bucket, in a vase. These are used diabetic insulin syringes in a vase, a ceramic vase. In the camper. These were in the camper, diabetic insulin syringes in the camper. This is what was in the camper. And those are used.
Look at all these hypodermic.
See, there's another one. Let's see. Hey, this was surgical tape with a piece of toilet paper, surgical tape that was, I guess somebody See, somebody had yanked all of the outlets out of the camper. There's the electrical thing that was removed. Okay, somebody cut the copper pipe, copper propane line, removed it. And somebody had blacked out the windows so nobody could see in. Now, that's the cardboard ceiling like I was telling you about in the other campers. But, when it took a long time to get this thing up on the truck. This is my conversation with the girl that had the camper. Here it was. It was sitting down on the ground. The camper was sitting down on the ground. The front part was propped up a little bit. So I rigged a way to be able to get the camper up on the truck, you see. Hey, I'm not doing anything New Year's Eve. I might watch movies with Wayne. I still have it, Elvis Travels. I still have the Coachman, the 88 Coachman. If I get this other one restored, I might go to it and switch to it, maybe. But, the only good thing about this new camper, it has aluminum siding on it. It's easier to repair. If I had to take the siding off of it, it would be easier to do. This camper I have, it's laminated together. The siding is glued onto it. It's fiberglass siding that's glued onto the camper. You know what I'm saying? It's just glued on, and it's hard to work with. I like it, though. I like the camper I have had. So, that's the only negative. And this video also to be a record. I want to, just a record. I want this to be a record with all the screenshots that I have. Of proof of my ownership of this camper. Proof of ownership of this camper. From this point in time. Okay, now here's the ad. This screenshot was taken 12/28/2022. This is the way the camper looked on my Google Photos. On my Google Photos is the camper after I had it in my possession. The ad says free camper, pending free camper. See? Okay. The current time is December 28th, 2022, when that was taken. There is the camper in my possession. There it was cleaned up, the current time. Now, the interior in my possession. This is the girl that I talked to that had the camper on their property. It said, I got the camper home. It was a lot of work, but thanks for letting me have it. She said, of course, thanks for taking it off our hands. She said, thanks for taking the camper off of her hands. She moved on to a piece of property, cleaning up a piece of property, and this camper was there on their property when they moved there. It was already on their property when they moved there, and it was sitting down on the ground. And whoever had lived there before, who knows? That's the way the camper looked before I got the camper. The person took in the picture. And so, and there is on the left is camper on my truck. Here's what it looked like on the property. Okay, the girl I was talking to. You see the front end was propped up a little bit, but the back half was sitting down on the ground. Okay, here it is. It's sitting down on the ground, and the back end is sitting down on the ground. See, so. Okay, free camper, like I said. And, okay. There it is again, It says here, the article ad says, was on our property when we moved here. Whoever will come pick it up can have it. If someone put in the time, it could look good, but can also be used for scrap and parts. Whatever floats your boat. And the girls, who the girl was that was doing that. So, just, just some documentation that I got the camper for free. I was on Facebook Marketplace. 12/28 is when I'm documenting the camper in my possession. 12/28 of 2022. When I made this, went and got the camper the day before Christmas Eve. I think it was Friday. And there was the camper, the back end sitting down on the ground. The back end was sitting right down in the ground. So, you know, the conversation. Were you able to hook it on? She said. Were you able to hook the camper on? Okay. Berea, Kentucky. There's an address. Nobody's gonna care who the people are. But just documenting that the camper was free, you know. It says, do you have it? I live in the area. Yes. Are you interested? So, just documenting that the camper was free on Facebook Marketplace. And talk to the person that owned the camper. And that's what it was. Now document it with a YouTube video. And I'll cut this out and make this into a special thing. Let's see. So, you know, nobody cares who anybody is or who these people are or even knows who they are. These are the pictures from the ad, okay, when I bought it. And here's the picture of the inside of the camper before I bought the camper. It's the people that took the picture of the camper before it was in my possession. Now here's another picture of the inside of it. You can see. And there it is. Back in, sitting down on the ground. They have a lid from a tote, one of those Rubbermaid totes. They took one of those Rubbermaid totes and make it into a window cover to cover the window. So, okay, there's the front ends kind of sitting up, you know, propped up, you know, sitting there. And there it is. When you walk in the door, the, you know, appliances have been removed in the camper. There it is again. You see, there we go. Here is where the hypodermic needles are at. And there's a bottle of something that looks like pee in there. Like a pee bottle. You see down here where I move my cursor in that corner? That's the vase of hypodermic needles, you see. They're sitting there, and that's supposed to be in the dinette, you see. You see, right there is the vase of hypodermic needles. So that's what that's about. Okay, there's another nice truck camper. Now you can see the back end sitting down on the ground. But this is the property where the camper was at. And I had to be there working on this camper up into the night, man. I had to be up in there at 8 or 9 o'clock at night getting this thing loaded on my truck, man. It took a long time to get this thing up off the ground and onto my truck. It took a long time to get this thing up off the ground and onto my truck. So it's just like, it was out in the country. So you can see the back end sitting down on the ground. It's hard to get, if you ever messed with one of these, if it's sitting down on the ground, it's a lot of work. It takes engineering. It takes a little bit of an engineering to be able to get something like this up off the ground and onto a truck. It's a lot of work. But it was a Coachman truck camper. It was a Coachman. And it wasn't just because it was free. You know? It wasn't free. Just free. That's a nice truck camper build. But see, that's nice inside. So I just wanted you to see it and to document this stuff. Hey there. Meth Man camper. Light that thing on fire. Jesse Scott. I'm just Leroy Jenkins, P2E. What will happen to your other one? Well, I'm going to keep it. I have 2 now. It was free. Yes, it was free, you know. It was free. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great project. I have good news. Good news, I worked out the electrical. I got the electrical working. So I'll do a future video on the electrical. I got the electrical going. So just wanted you to see that. There. Yeah, I just wanted you to see that I got the electrical going. Well, you will see that in the future. So I just went ahead and documented it. Anytime you get something to acquire property, it's good to be able to document that you own it, that it's in your possession, that you own it, it's in your possession from this day, from this moment, from this. And documenting these things on YouTube videos is a good way to do it because you're documenting it on a YouTube video. This is my camper. I own this camper. It's documented that it's in my possession. It was given away as a free camper. I showed the Facebook. I'm gonna go back again. Look at the actual right now live. And I will look at the actual Facebook. Okay. Okay, here's the conversation. It took a long time to get this. Do you have it? I live in the area. Yes, are you interested? Could you come and get it today? So that was December 22 at 2:04 p.m. This person messaged me. December 22nd, 222 at 2:04. I was messaged. Can you come get it today? The last time I talked to this person, these people did not at all hardly respond to my messages. Where is the address? Conway, Kentucky. So, Wilderness Road. There's an address. I'm not going to give all this away. It says at night of the wilderness, okay. Two people. Here's the article. Here's the ad demonstrating I was given the camper for free. Here it is. Here's the camper. Okay. Okay. Here's the camper. Here's the ad article. Okay. Says it right here. It's on her property and it's still up. It's still live on Facebook. You can see it live on her property when we moved here. Whoever come back and pick it up can have it. Blah, blah, blah. There it is, sitting down on the ground. Just documenting that I got the camper for free and that it was advertised on Facebook Marketplace for free. And I went and got it. I picked it up. I loaded it on my truck. Other party says, I say, I got the camper home. It was a lot of work, but thanks for letting me have the camper. And this other party says, of course, thanks for taking it off our hands. And I said, this gray cat was still in the camper. Do you know who it belongs to? No, I'm sorry, we don't. I think it's a stray. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'll make a long story short, just stains in the ceiling. I know, Kaylee. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you for being concerned. I appreciate it. This is going to be in the future of what I want to do to it if I finish the project. I want to. My old camper has block foam insulation, blue block foam insulation. I'm going to just be changing out all the insulation with new insulation, block foam insulation, rigid foam insulation. This camper is easier to work on. They don't usually title truck campers very often, Sweet Jessie Scott. They don't really always title truck campers. It's not every state that titles a truck camper. So some states do title truck campers, but a lot of people don't get them titled. So, and so, yeah, that's probably it's good to get something with a bill of sale to it. It's hard to find something vintage with a bill of sale. So, yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to show this, and I'll cut up this video and clip it, and I'll save the part with just the buying of the camper, acquiring the camper. So, yeah. So I just went to, so I did that, and I will catch you guys later. I'm glad you all were here. Thank you. And I will catch you on the next one.